जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं श्री परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्यमीश्वरं नमो नमो विष्णुपदकृष्णप्रसादूत्र श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणिचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Hare Krishna Prabhu's Mataji, we are reading verse number 3, 28, 27. Correct, Prabhu? Sadashiv Prabhu? Last week we did 26, I think, right? So 26 and now 27. So let's read the translation for 26 and then proceed with 27. The yogi should then meditate on the chest of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the abode of Goddess Mahalakshmi. The Lord's chest is the source of all transcendental pleasure for the mind and full satisfaction for the eyes. The yogi should then imprint on his mind the neck of the Personality of Godhead, who is adored by the entire universe. The neck of the Lord serves to enhance the beauty of the Kaustuba gem, which hangs on his chest. So, we have this. This verse we discussed about how Krishna's beautiful the chest and the neck of the Lord both are glorified, and also the chest being the abode of Goddess Mahalakshmi, and neck serves to enhance the beauty by serving another devotee, that is Kautuba gem, and that hangs on his chest. Now there is something very interesting which before we go to the next verse, there is something which is very interesting, which general things that which we can discuss before we go to the verse number 27. Just give me one sec. I just wanted to take up one specific thing. Yeah, I think now we are. Okay. So this there is an interesting connection between the chest and the neck. Before going there, one particular point I just want to highlight here is that if you see this entire chapter, in the first, I think 8 or 10 shlokas, what is explained here? Can somebody highlight that point? Just give an essence, summary of that. What is the essence of the first 8, 10 shlokas that in this chapter that Kapil Muni is explaining to Devahuti? Am I audible?
Sorry, Prabhuji. I think memory is very short, so we don't really remember about what was the verse talking about. So I just started reading the verse.
No, I'm not. If you just read the translations alone, you will get an idea. Just scan through the translation for a minute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, is it about how the yogi should meditate upon the various parts of the Lord?
Yes, but before that, what is going on? Good try, Mataji. But before that, what it is going on? He talks about it only, I think, with verse number 4. What is that? No, exactly where he starts this. Yes, I think verse number 12 onwards only he is talking about meditating on the form of the Lord. But before that, what is going on there? That's something which is very vital and important for us to know. That's why I was bringing this question.
Is it, Prabhu, that conventional, that religious practice should be avoided?
That is one of those things, Prabhu. But what is the overall essence of those first 10, 12, 10, 11 shlokas?
Concentrate on mind and breathing exercise.
Those are each you are talking about one by one particular point in the set of things. I want an essence of that whole thing. Like say, for the later part, you are saying that Krishna is telling about meditating on his form, transcendental form. Like that, what is it that is the vital thing in the first 10 shlokas? I mean, if you just want to summarize it in one statement.
So I think when we talk about a yoga system which is to concentrate the mind, and to withdraw from the 3 moods and come and fix the mind on something. So that is the Krishna's form is the best way to meditate on or something.
Maybe Yom Niyam.
Sorry?
One more thing, Prabhuji. You should avoid conventional religious practice and should focus on salvation, something like that.
These are one point that you're talking about. Out of the 10 slokas, he's telling multiple things, like 20, 30 things he tells overall. Sadharma charanam shaktya, vidharma nivartanam, daiva labdena santosha, atmavit charanachanam, gramya dharma nivritischa, moksha dharma ratishtata. No, like that he is telling quite a few slokas. But what is the essence, if you see, of the entire set of slokas?
Is it something, Prabhu, that do's and don'ts, Jom and Niyam, like just to get a preparatory mood?
Yes, you are coming there. Almost there. But what actually the essence of that point here is that, Prabhu, that unless we improve our behavioral qualities, these are all the behavioral qualities. As we are supposed to follow these as principles of our dharma, of our eternal dharma. You see, niyat karma, whatever. So unless we do this, there is no point going into the meditation. That's why these precede the beautiful explanation of the Lord's form. You get the point? That's in all through our Shastras, this is one point that our spiritual master, as well as Mahavishnu Maharaj, always highlighted. And even Prabhupada also highlighted it many times. That first thing that we have to, the Shastras predominantly instructs us to transform, improve our character, our qualities, acquire these qualities or refine these qualities if you have already. Then only we can actually appreciate the beauty of the Lord in those forms. These forms, when they get into our mind, it should stay for a very long time. What you call, it's something which is stay for a long time, long period. Unless that happens, unless the quality is improved, we cannot retain the form of the Lord and appreciate the beauty of the Lord and thank Him, appreciate be grateful to Him for His this transcendental beauty that Krishna is revealing to us, even though we are not qualified. So that is why even in Nectar of Instruction you take, there are total 11 shlokas. But out of those 11 shlokas, first 8 shlokas are about improving our character as devotees. And even in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, the 55th shloka, where 54th shloka, where Arjuna is asking question, Svita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Then after that, there are 18 shlokas that follow this question. In those 18 shlokas, 17 and a half or 17.9 shlokas are actually improving the quality only, improving our character only. The last line only, Brahma Nirvanam Richati, that's where he is touching the transcendental abode of the Lord. Other than that, rest everything is, Raga, Dvesha, Vimuktaistu, Dukkeshu, Anudvignamana. Everything is about improving our character, improving our behavior. Only when we fine tune that part, this thing will, the Krishna's beauty will make sense to us. And that is the most important lesson. I've seen Maharaj writing it in his diary that this chapter is very, very important, 3.28. To read the entire chapter, it's the most important chapter in Kapil Muni's instruction. And then later Maharaj says that these, the very fact that he's talking about Swadharma Charanam Shatya, first you do your prescribed duty, all right. Vidharma Chanivarcharam, don't do that is not prescribed for you. Daiva Labdena Santosha, be happy with whatever Krishna is giving. And then Atma with Charanarchanam, serve the spiritual master. Like this, there are many qualities. We have to list these qualities. That itself will take a while. I think you might have read through this entire set of slokas. Only then you would have come to this now 328, 27, 28, etc., where Krishna's beauties are mentioned. See how beautiful our Shastras are. They are not just telling that, hey, this is how Krishna is, this is how God is, you have to go there. No, but they also give us the process which will purify us, which will rectify our anarthas, vanquish our anarthas, and make us eligible to take darshan of the Lord. Because when we take darshan of the Lord, so many times you have heard Krishna with Shankachakra Gada Padma, Shankachakra Gada Padma. But how many times are we really appreciating that beauty? It becomes like a rhetoric, isn't it? It's just like a, yes, what is a big deal? I've heard this many times. Yesterday also we went to one friend's place, we were talking about Bhagavatam. They said, what's the big deal about it? We have heard this many times. So they were saying that way, So the point is, if we continuously, repeatedly go through something without applying our bhav, without improvement in our behavior, then it becomes a very, it's a rhetoric. It's just some ritualistic thing that keeps coming, and it's a stereotype. It becomes a stereotype thing. So that is the danger we are facing. Otherwise, why after hearing about Krishna's beauty so many times, still we are not able to retain that form in our minds always, or not always, forget about always, at least for a few minutes. When we go and take darshan of the Lord in the temple, how long does the Lord's form stay in our mind? We are not even standing there for more than a few seconds. Or assume that you are staying there for 5 minutes. We are looking at the Lord for 5 minutes. That the Lord is giving us the darshan for 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, how many minutes do we retain that form in our mind or in our eyes, whatever, in our dhyan? Why it is not written? If it is not written, I'm sure. I mean, some of you might be definitely having a better approach to taking darshan of the Lord. But for me, I can tell this that it doesn't retain after some time. Even if it comes just like a flash and goes away. And that flash and go away also is not something which is giving us the spiritual experience, if I have to say that way. Very, just a glimmer it will give, that's all. Really, if it has to give the spiritual experience, it should be like the experience that Narad Muni had when he was meditating in his birth as the maid servant's son, no, the previous life. At that time also he did the meditation, and the Lord came for a fraction of a moment, and then he vanished. But there you see, for Narad Muni, actually all the spiritual symptoms and ecstasies was manifested, and that is only one part of it. The second part of it is, after appreciating the beauty of the Lord's form, he wanted to see that again and again, isn't it? He tried that mechanical process or whatever, the process. He tried it mechanically, but the process is not mechanical. Tried it mechanically means he wanted to do it again with the hope that, yes, definitely I will get Krishna by this process. Not giving much, what do you call, scope to, not giving much scope to Krishna's mercy and his independence, right? So even though that happened, but still he tried again and again and again. That eagerness was there. Why? Because he really meditated on the Lord with pure heart. There is nothing, no kalmasha in his heart. Unfortunately, or I don't know, whatever the situation may be, for us in our we are in the Kali Yuga. That is one thing. Short memory, distracting minds and senses and all those things are there. But even then, that eagerness to take darshan of the Lord for a long period of time. Long means sufficient period of time. Not that I will just be sitting there and doing nothing. Prescribed duties also have to be done. That's another thing. But wherever we go, we spend so much money and time and energy to go all the way from our home to Vrindavan, Mayapur, whatever, or Tirupati. Tirupati, they will not let you stay there for more than a few seconds. That's another thing. But you go to Vrindavan, you can stand there for as much as you want. You can stand there and chant. You can offer some prayers. How much ever we want, we can do. But in spite of that, how long do we stand in front of, say, I'm just taking example of, say, Radha Ramana, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govinda, whatever deities that we have, or Radha Shyam Sundar in our ISKCON temple, Krishna Balram. How long do we stand there and meditate? And after coming from there, how long does the form sustain in our memories? Anybody would say, anybody able to, I mean, they were able to do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong. We can just share here. I am telling very frankly, it doesn't sustain in my mind for long.
Yeah, same with us, bro.
Prabhu, actually, when we go to temple, darshan is only one of the agenda what we have. It's not the only agenda. That's why we want to get distracted to other activities going on there,
Prasadam is
prasadam,
there,
and,
prasadam is there,
and books are
somebody
there,
is
some gifts are there, something like
gifts
that.
are there, or so many other people are there, some devotees are there whom we know, we talk to them, and we don't talk to them about Krishna all the time. How are you? How are you?
In fact, Prabhuji, when we travel to these devotional places, that time also our mind is in modes. We think of different things, we are not in that mode that we are going to the spiritual journey and we are going to take darshan. So
Exactly.
that's also quite, the starting point itself is very wrong where we start. Our mood, the mood affects us and we carry on, and then when we stand in front of the Lord, our brain is confused.
And we want to take the photo first.
Yeah.
Before darshan.
So many photos, so many selfies, and how much does it? It's there in the phones or computer, but we don't go and see that again, isn't it? We take videos thinking that later I will see all that stuff, right?
And to go to other places also, to other temples also, to visit other temples also with it. That is.
So many temples are there. Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govinda. One day, can you finish all the temples? Go and take darshan. Finish. No, after that, we come back and no, it's time for prasadam. So our dham visits, sometimes we can laugh at ourselves for the interesting. I don't want to use any other word. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? So the thing is, you see how the Goswamis and how our acharyas are actually spending time in the dham, and how it has turned the other side, our visits. So this is all because the first 10 shlokas we are not meditating so much. The first 10 shlokas talks about improving our character as devotee. When we improve our character as devotee, automatically we will be waiting or longing to see the darshan of the Lord. Eagerly waiting, eagerly longing to see the darshan of the Lord. This chapter is nothing but fully darshan of the Lord. So we'll be eagerly waiting or repeatedly reading these verses again and again and again. And when we repeatedly read, then Krishna will give us the intelligence to understand why he spoke those 10 shlokas beginning, and then why he is talking about the beauty now. The descriptions and decorations now, in like after 10 shlokas onwards. And we start with an attempt to improve our behavior. It's not that we have to be 100% there only, then Krishna will appear. No, even little bit Krishna will show the darshan. For Narad Muni, little bit he made an attempt and he made some progress, and for that itself Krishna showed the darshan. Or I mean to say, made him appreciate his darshan, if I have to say that way. Appreciate the beauty, appreciate the Lord's kindness in giving him that darshan. That's why in that Etavadukto Pararamatan Mahat Bhutam Nabolingam Alingamishwaram Aham Chatasmai Mahatam Mahise Shishna Vanama Vidade Anukampitaha. That Anukampa word is translated as gratitude. In whole of Bhagavatam, if you see, the gratitude word is used in hardly 1 or 2 slokas, and this is one of those slokas. And he is thankful for the Lord, thankful to the Lord for giving him that darshan. So we should also be thankful to the Lord for so beautifully explaining these features and the importance and significance of those features also. Because if you simply see something without understanding the significance of it, we will not appreciate it. Like that is there, no? Like holy names also, if you don't know the importance of the holy names, significance of the holy name, then we will not appreciate its holy name's mercy for even coming into our tongue and making us vibrate and make that sound. Right? So this is why Maharaj was telling us again and again, you go through these shlokas repeatedly in this chapter, at least the first 10 shlokas you do, then naturally you will get the reason, I mean, get the important things about how you should, why we should improve these qualities. So in Bhagavatam, there are 2 kinds of shlokas. One is about improving our qualities. Another is about the transcendental beauty of Krishna. And you will see that this first part is the maximum in all our Shastras, not only Bhagavatam, all our Shastras. 80% of the slokas in the Shastras are about improving our character as beauty. Remaining 20% will talk about, like we talked about Kasturi Tilakam last week. Then we have the Barha Pidam Sloka. Then there are Vamshi Vibhushita Kara. Beautiful slokas are there where Krishna's excuse me, Krishna's beauty is given. Krishna's beauty is given such nice, say, embellishment, whatever. So this is the first point to understand. If at all we are not able to appreciate the second half of this chapter, that is where Krishna's beauty is given, is explained, then the only thing is that the first 11 slokas we have not studied properly. So we have to go back to the first 11 slokas and study that first again and see how much we can improvise ourselves. Then automatically the second half will make more sense to us. I mean to say, we will be able to appreciate this this rest of the shloka. This is the first point. And the next thing that I wanted to say about this verse number 26 itself, I was telling you about an interesting relationship between chest and the neck, isn't it? You will see why that connection is very nice. You know? See, anything that you want to, I mean to say, enhance your beauty or add beauty to your whatever you already have. You put it on the neck and it comes in the chest, isn't it? So you cannot just keep something on the chest without any support, right? So what if you have to beautify your chest, your neck has to support you. Yes or no? If you put a necklace or you put a jewel or you put a garland, for any of these things, you cannot just put a garland. Somebody is there, you can't just put the garland on that person around his waist and tie it like this to go to the chest. Chest is the where in our chest is outside, but heart is inside. Correct? So when we are decorating the chest, actually we are decorating the heart also. Inside is heart, outside is chest. So when we decorate the Lord's chest, the neck has to help. Otherwise, you cannot put it properly. So the neck plays a very important role in helping to enhance the beauty of the Lord more. And in that process, the neck also gets beautified. Like you put the pearl necklace around, and like I think the next sloka Chinmay Prabhu will take probably in that also the beautiful thing is mentioned about the garland around the neck again. It talks about the neck again. So this is something which is very important and very beautiful to notice, because inside the chest, heart is there, and inside the neck, throat is there. So whatever we are thinking in our heart is expressed in the form of our vocal cord, or this throat, vocal cord we call it, right? It is expressed through that, isn't it? Yes or no? That's our Kirtanam, Vacha, whatever we talk about, right? The mind and words. Mind is in the heart, and we speak and it's expressed through the throat, isn't it? So there is a very strong connection between our heart and the throat. Yes?
Yeah, Prabhu.
So this is for the Lord also, this is there, because whatever he thinks, of course, all his angas can do all the parts, but then again, he speaks through his words. He speaks to us. He speaks to the devotees. He blesses them. He talks to them in so many different ways. He appreciates them. Right? Everything is coming out through the what is that? Like the murmuring of the cloud. They call it that way. It's that way. You know, the sound of the cloud that when it is about to rain. That's how Krishna's voice will be, right? Transcendental voice. So there is, even in us also, it's very interesting, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have to look nicely. Then the garland is put around. That garland we put the whatever that what is that, jewel or something that you put here. that Krishna is putting that in his Kaustubha here, but the Kaustubha is supported by the garland around. Without that, the Kaustubha. So there is a very intricate connection, intimate connection between these two, the neck and the chest. Similarly, the heart and the throat, which is inside these three parts, they are also connected. And if you see, there is a beautiful verse which talks about this subtle connection. The heart means soul is there, Paramatma is there. So when we talk about the soul, it is the soul that thinks actually, soul that desires, and that is expressed through the intelligence, mind, and then step by step it comes through. So if we know the shloka that Maharaj had written in his diary, which talks about how the scientific process became behind how the words come out of our mouth. It is not something that we speak. There is, in some cases, there is a disconnect between the mouth and the brain or heart. That's a different thing. But normally, when we have to speak your heart, you express your feelings, there is a strong connection. So what happens? The soul, which is it's a totality of all the desires, expectations, samskar, whatever, and it has the desire to speak. And along with the intelligence and mind, it combines together, and then it initiates that process of that desire. And that desire is it inspires the mind with that desire. When this is how the pure this when the devotees speak, they glorify the Lord, or Krishna speaks, this is all the process that works. In Krishna's case, it is of course all Anga's work. And the mind is the connecting point between the subtle body and the gross body. And even in the gross body, the subtlest part of the gross body is your vital air. That is the air, Vayu, we call the different airs, the 10 airs, right? So the mind inspires the air, because that's a life air is the one, prana vayu we say, that is what will go in the last thing, right? So it inspires the air in our body, and this air will move along the chest. This is it actually moves around the chest. The air, the generating source of all the air is the heart. Krishna Paramatma is the heart. That Bhagavatam says, 369, that verse says. So from there, this air gets generated and it circulates here, and then slowly it inspires them and fire in our body again, which is the next subtle this thing. Subtle element. It inspires the air to move, right? And when the air moves, it creates a sound, and that sound is called as the swara. It generates a different. That ka varga, pa varga, ta varga. All these are actually the different swaras basically. The swara is actually vowels, but consonants we call it this way. So a, I, e, they are all the swaras. So swarajyate iti swara, they call it. That which rules on its own. That's called swara. So the swara and this consonants, yanjana they call it, they both are connected. And these combination together, they produce the syllables, and they come up to here, the throat, which is inside, and it inspires the tongue to speak those different words. That is how from the mind, from the Atma, the desire to speak comes and converts into voice, the words that comes out. So the throat is covered, protected by the neck. Assume if the neck is not there, how long can we speak? People put holes when they are having problem with eating. Now they put the hole and put this thing. Then they will not be able to speak. Vocal cord will be affected. So neck has to be protected. Or neck when you glorify the neck, when you decorate the neck, the throat is also decorated internally. That's what it means. So whenever we have this, there is a very strong connection between these two. That is why in Bhagavatam these two are coming together. Not only just because, of course, we are talking about the Lord from the bottom to up, means from lotus feet all the way up slowly. We have seen the knees, thighs, hip, nabi. We have come up to the chest now, chest and neck. But these two are glorified in these three verses together because of this connection, interesting connection there. right? And neck is also one more important quality in neck is that it is the connecting point between the Jnanendriyas and the Karmendriyas. Above this is all the Jnanendriyas are there, and below this is the Karmendriyas. Of course, one of the things does both the job. That is another thing. The tongue does the Karmendriya also, but we see other things like legs and hands and all these things are below. It's a very important thing, and that is why we put the garland on the neck. We don't put it on the hand or leg or on the head or whatever. We put it on the neck, right? Krishna has created us with that idea in this form. It also beautifies even more, you know. When Krishna is wearing the garland, it is so beautiful. He appears so beautiful. The garland is also beautified as a result of it, isn't it? And the garland comes and climbs up to his chest. And if you see in the chest, it sits beautifully. The chest is also beautified by that. And this is how whatever we think in the heart, when they are expressed, when what we are thinking in the heart is pure, and when it is expressed from our mouth or throat and the mouth, is when it is it is expressed, it also comes out very in a purified form, and it enhances the our relationships or our dealings with all the living entities. This is the same thing with Krishna also. Krishna is so beautiful. That's why he's always smiling. His heart has only pure thing. His heart is the purest form, pavitram, paramam pavitram. And when he speaks, he is speaking so beautifully. He doesn't curse somebody. He doesn't become angry at somebody. Even if somebody is angry at him, he is not retaliating in the same way. Why? Because his heart is so pleased. He is very peaceful. So this is something which is very, very important for us to understand as a whole, not just as for one shloka. So this 3:28, 26, just for that one point, I thought, it's very important, and we will relate to that in the next verse also, in 28 also, when Chinmaya Prabhu reads that next time, no? So let's go to 27 now. This is a beautiful verse. Each of these shloka is so nice because it reveals the transcendental glory of the Lord in how much he is extending himself to help his devotees or to work along with his devotees. Right? So this particular verse brings out that beauty. Or how much he is encouraging them, how much he is loving them, he's expressing his love, all these things through his beauty also. We normally express our beauty to enhance, to glorify ourselves, isn't it? Our expression of our beauty in whatever makeup or things that we put, nice dress and all, whatever we put, it is only for someone to come and appreciate us. Like, oh, Prabhu, you are wearing a very nice dress. Oh, your earring is really nice. Oh, this necklace is so good. All kinds of things have to be told. Only then we will be satisfied. Otherwise, that whatever we spend on the brand and the big amount, whatever we might be doing, that will be of no use if nobody appreciates us, right? But in Krishna's case, he is very beautiful. On top of it, he is wearing all these things only to to enhance the glories of his devotees, because each of his ornament is a devotee. Like his Kaumodaki, that Gada, that is a devotee. Sudarshan Chakra, devotee. Shanka, again, devotee. His sword is a devotee. His Paduka is a devotee. His crown is a devotee. His earring, Kaustubmani, everything is a devotee. Everything, every one of his items is a devotee. So when he wears all these things, it is to glorify those devotees, giving special position for these devotees in his life, in his form, so that anybody who comes and sees them immediately says, Kaustubamani means, yes, Kaustubamani is so fortunate. His flute is so fortunate. His earrings, Makara Kundala is so fortunate to be shaking and touching his cheeks. sing that in the Damodar Ashtakam and many other. So that is how he wants to. He is giving this special position to this Garudji, then Hanuman, or anyone for whom he is giving special position in his form, in his activities and pastimes. They are actually glorified. They are given that position because of their special service. Sudarshan Chakra is always in his hand because of his special service. Right? So whenever we do this kind of unflinching devotional service to Krishna, Krishna will give us that special position also in him, in his abode, in his form, in his pastimes, etc. Already he is giving us. Right? This time that we are spending is actually a special time that Krishna has given to us. Who else would be sitting and reading this beautiful form of the Lord? So many places you go, everywhere you will see Krishna with Shankachakra Gadapadma. Everywhere you will see, or he will be with the flute, or anything, chadi, or anything that else that he has. Cows served Krishna so beautifully, so wonderfully that you have Gopala Krishna, we have the Madana Gopal, we have all these forms where the cows always assist him. They are always with him in the altar also. So when we are appreciating the Lord, or I mean doing the arati, everything, along with him his devotees also get glorified. That is the beauty. All these forms, Tulsi Maharani, then you have the monkeys and others, they also sit around Krishna. So how much you should appreciate them for that glory. That is the most important thing we should understand from these shlokas, and we will see that in this particular shloka also. I am reading this 3:28-27. बाहुंश्च मन्दरगिरे परिवर्तनेन निर्णिक्तबाहुवलयान् अधिलोकपालान् सञ्चिन्तयेत् दशशतारम् असख्यतेजः शङ्खं च तत्करसरोरुहराजहंसम्. Can you read the word for word? Can somebody take turns to read the word for word? I just want to give turns to others. I can also read, but it would be nice if someone wants to read it because it's on the screen.
Should I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Bahun, the arms, Cha and Mandaragira of mountain Mandara, Parivartanena by the revolving, Nirninkita, polished, Bahuvalyam, the arm ornaments, Abhiloka Palan, the source of the controllers of the universe, Sanchitayet, one should meditate on, Dasasata Aram, the Sudarshana disc, the 1000 spokes, Asahaya Teja, dazzling luster, Sankham, the conch, Cha also, Tatkara, in the hand of the Lord, Saruraha, lotus-like, Rajahamsam, like a swan.
Translation, Prabhu.
Yeah, translation by Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. The yogi should further meditate upon the Lord's four arms, which are the source of all the powers of the demigods who control the various functions of material nature. Then the yogi should concentrate on the polished ornaments which were burnished by mountain Mandara as it revolved. He should also dully contemplate the Lord's discus, the Sudarshan Chakra, which contains 1000 spokes and a dazzling luster, as well as the conch, which looks like a swan in his lotus-like palm. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
The purport also, Prabhu.
The purport by Swami Prabhupada. All departments of law and order emanate from the arms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The law and order of the universe is directed by different demigods, and it is here said to emanate from the Lord's arms. Mandara Hill is mentioned here because when the ocean was churned by the demons on one side and the demigods on the other, Mandara Hill was taken as a churning rod. The Lord in his tortoise incarnation became the pivot for the churning rod, and thus his ornaments were polished by the turning of the Mandara Hill. In other words, the ornaments on the arms of the Lord are as brilliant and lustrous as if they have been polished very recently. The wheel in the hand of the Lord, called the Sudarshan Chakra, has 1000 spokes. The yogi is advised to meditate upon each of the spokes. He should meditate upon each and every one of the component parts of the transcendental form of the Lord. Jai Shri
Beautiful,
Prabhupada.
beautiful purport, no? See
Yes,
this,
sir.
see, the yogi should further meditate upon the Lord's four arms, which are the source of all the powers of the demigods who control the various functions of material nature. Now, slowly we are going up from Nabi to the chest and then to the neck, and these two are connected. Now, here comes the hands. Krishna's four hands are there, and these four hands contain the Shanka, Chakra, Gada, and Padma, right? This Gada alone will be covered in the next verse, but the other three are covered in this verse, isn't it? And also along with that, his hands. So you see, this this one verse contains so many pastimes of the Lord, right? This Mount Mandara, you know, the churning of the milk ocean. In that pastime, Krishna does so many services just for the protection of his devotees. He is actually helping both devatas and demons. That is another thing. But he is doing it for his pleasure is one thing, but then he is doing it for everyone's pleasure. Because by appreciating the so many different avatars that Krishna is taking there in that pastime, they are all beautified. They all are actually they enhance our love for Krishna more and more. He takes the Kurma avatar, that is also there, and then he takes the Ajita, then Sahasra Bahu, then Ajita is the form with which he actually does the churning. Initially, he does the churning with he is taking the side of the demigods, and then demons are doing on the other side. The Mandara mountain is on the milk ocean, and then they are doing the churning. Initially, that the poison, everything comes, and still they are churning. They are getting all the other items. Kaustuba money comes, then they get the what is that? Our Airavata, then Ucheshravas, the horse, everything. They all come one by one, but the nectar is not coming. So when the demigods and demons are trying their best and they are not able to do much, then Krishna tells them, "You both sit, take rest." And both sides, he himself is taking hands and doing the manthan like this, And while doing that, his hands, the bangles, the bangles in his hands, they get brushed against the Mandara mountain, and they get they start shining. Why? Because why Krishna is using the Mandara mountain? To shine it, because the Mandara mountain is engaged in the service of Krishna. Because Krishna wanted to do some pastime, he is taking part in the pastime. Imagine you are put in the ocean and then somebody is using you as a manthan to churn. But Mandara mountain, even though huge, he is there serving the Lord. So he is using that to polish his ornaments. And the ornaments are also very happy to be polished by the Mandara mountain, right? And then in the end, they shine. And Mandara mountain also becomes glorified for engaging in the service of the Lord. And Krishna, if he wanted, he could have just polished it himself. Why he has to polish it with Mandara mountain? Because Krishna, in every single associate, paraphernalia of Krishna, they shine when they are engaged in the service of Krishna. We also, as part and parcel, are paraphernalia of Krishna. When we also engage in Krishna's service, then we will be also shining forth. But a very important thing that we should understand here is that when two servites, they come together, there can be some friction, right? But that friction when you go through that friction patiently for the glorification of the Lord, then that same thing will become the source of our shining in our life. Isn't it? That's the message that we get from here. When you put this ornament against some other mountain and shine, it will be very painful for the ornament, because anything associated with Krishna is sentient, means consciousness, eternal consciousness is there. So definitely that pain will be there. But because it is engaged in the service of Krishna, it doesn't feel that pain. It doesn't give focus on that pain. Rather, it feels more and more happy to being purified by the Mandara mountain. You cannot just use a small cloth and shine the ornaments. They are huge. They have no ornaments. Even our own ornaments cannot be shined by rubbing it against some soft cloth and all, right? If you go to the goldsmith, what he will do? When it loses its shine, when the ornaments loses its shine, what will he do?
He puts it in the
He will
chemical.
polish.
He will
Like,
polish it means what? He will put some polish on it or what? He will
No.
actually it will be
Rubbing, yeah.
rubbed.
Rub and clean.
Imagine if somebody take my face and rub on a rough face, you have a lot of dirt in your face. You just rub and take out all the this thing in the whatever is in the skin. How painful it will be, right? So, but only that pain, when we go through that pain, we will shine in our life. Or if the ornament, if the gold is put in the fire, it will be put in the fire, and it sheds out all the impurities, dirts, and then it shines beautifully. Tapta Kanchana we call it, right? So it is that is the message here, that when both of them are engaged in the service, but in that process, because they are engaged in Krishna's service, there will be some, but whatever we may be, we take it from our point of view. They are more pure, but we are thinking from our point of view that because of our modes, the modes in which we are also absorbed, and the other person is also absorbed in the modes, is influenced by the modes. So those modes will actually rub and they will get dissipated in the process. But while leaving, when we are attached to that mode, so it's me, that's when the pain will be there. But when we are saying, hey, this is modes, I'm not supposed to hold this, let it go away. Then somebody is, when we are working with some devotee and he calls me, you are proud, you call them, they are envious, and this and that, goes back and forth. That is actually they are telling what is in us. So we just shed it off, then naturally we will come out much more pure, and in that process you will appreciate that other person who was instrumental in revealing and purifying our anarthas. Get me? So at the end of this process, the Kankan, the bangles in Krishna's hands, were very thankful and grateful to Mount Mandara for polishing and make it shine more. That is the subtle message that comes from here. So we should not shy away from service. Oh, this devotee is not favorable to me. That devotee is not my like-minded, etc., etc. Then we will not be able to get over our own habits also, our own anarthas which we keep close to our hearts. But when we forget about whatever differences that we may have with a devotee or different discriminations, whatever, but come together for the pleasure of the Lord, then we will all shine forth. That's why you see both the demons and demigods hated each other, but they came together to engage in the pleasure of the Lord, while the demigods also wanted Amrita, but they obeyed Krishna. The demons also wanted Amrita, but they did not obey Krishna. They came because of the ulterior motive. But still Krishna gave them both all benedictions. For Devatas, he gave the Amrita. For the demons, he did not give the Amrita, but whatever they went through, eventually Bali Maharaj again came back and ruled for quite a long time. And the demons, though they may not have faith in Krishna, but because they were following Bali Maharaj, they were also given some special concession. This is how everything that we engage, everything of us, when it is engaged in Krishna's service, when it is offered in Krishna's service, then it is then they make more, they bring more value to our life. They make our life more valuable or more relishable and pleasurable. So this is the first part about when we are looking at the Lord's bangles in the form, in the deity form, or in picture or wherever, this is the thing that should come in our mind. Oh, these were polished by being varnished, means rubbed against. Burnished means rubbed against, continuously rubbed against by Mandara mountain. Mandara mountain is also a devotee, and so this is also a devotee. So by their constant engagement, they were both of them were glorified and purified. That is the thing that we should understand from there. Then we come to, so now we are talking first, hands are meditated. Hands are the source of the demigods, everything that is also meditated upon. And then we remember when the hands and the ornaments are there. See, that's how in three things are done in every case. The anga of the Lord, the ornament that is beautifying that anga, and the quality of that anga. All are glorified. You see, that is the beauty in this latest set of chapter. So when we see yogi should concentrate on this be done. Next we'll go to Sudarshan Chakra. You should also duly contemplate the Lord's discus, the Sudarshan Chakra, which contains 1,000 spokes and a dazzling luster. We all know the glories of Sudarshan Chakra. In Ambrish Maharaj's case, you will see that Sudarshan Chakra had the major role to play. And anytime Krishna has to kill somebody or deliver somebody, it's Sudarshan Chakra which he uses. And not only that, Sudarshan Chakra is not only for killing the demon. If you take this chapter 9, 5, 4, there's a beautiful sloka, Sudarshanas Namastubhyam Sahasrara Achyuta Priyaha Sarvastragatim. What is that sloka? 954 only. If you see in that word for word Sudarshana, actually Prabhupada writes not like the weapon of the Lord. He says 9544. 44, not 44. 954. You see, original vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is how it is translated. I remember many years ago when Maharaj was taking class in was doing some initiations in Minneapolis. At that time, when we were referring to this shloka, he said very interestingly that this is actually Sudarshana. It is not Sudarshana Chakra. It's not that way. It is Sudarshana. That darshan is auspicious vision of the Lord. Original vision of the Lord, auspicious vision of the Lord is called Sudarshana. And that vision of the Lord is what creates everything. So when Krishna glances at us, he creates the desire in our heart to serve him. That's what he does to the devotees. See? And we saw that about how the glance and the smile work together. When it creates a desire to serve him, and in the process of service, when we are facing challenges, his transcendental smile will give us the enthusiasm and encouragement to proceed beyond all the challenges, go past all the challenges. So this particular thing is very important to note. There's a Sudarshan Chakra. And another important thing we understand is that that particular pastime of the Lord of Ambarish Maharaj, and I know Anu Prabhu is in that discussion. He knows well what we have been discussing when we have been discussing in that pastime of Ambarish Maharaj. Krishna has a very transcendental thing there, the pastime there, because he uses one devotee to protect another devotee, Ambarish Maharaj, from some calamity that is created by Durvasa Muni. Not only that, it's not only the protection, but he also engages both of them in glorifying each other. That is the message that Krishna gives whenever he puts some any two devotees or more than two devotees to come together for a service. He is actually doing this to help each other and also bring glory to each other. One will bring glory to the other person, other will glory to this person. Then both of them are engaged with the mood that I am serving Krishna. If somebody is thinking I am doing it for myself, then that will be a different thing. That is not a coherent thing. It's not in harmony. But you see, Sudarshan Chakra was given to protect Ambarish Maharaj. But Ambarish Maharaj did not invoke Sudarshan Chakra. Even then, even though Krishna did not order, Ambarish Maharaj did not order, Sudarshan Chakra was chasing Durvasa Muni all over. Right? Why is Sudarshan Chakra was chasing Durvasa Muni? If he wanted, so if, Durvasa Muni could have gone there directly to Vishnu. Why he has to go into the caves, mountains, oceans, and all different planetary systems, then Brahmaloka, then Shivaloka, and then to Vaikuntha? Why all the way roundabout? He had to go through a world, universal tour. We discussed this in our other discussion. I know. I don't think others were there. Anu Prabhu was there. You can tell this, Anu Prabhu. You were part of our discussions.
Yeah, maybe some other devotee also telling Prabhuji.
I
Maybe we
don't
can
know who
hear.
else was there. I don't think
No,
anyone else is.
I was saying somebody's trying.
Oh,
No.
okay. Maybe Sadashiv Prabhu.
Maybe because Lord wanted everybody around the world to see what is happening and how Sudarshana is helping in the past time, or
Maybe
to give the lessons to everybody who can.
Yeah. So what lesson is that? That why he should instead of going straight into thing, why he was going all around. Anu Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because at this point,
here
Sadashiv Prabhu, Sudarshan Chakra is not under the control of Krishna.
Yeah.
Because Krishna himself is telling that.
Yeah.
Right?
So for protecting a devotee, another devotee should not wait for instruction from the Lord.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
But why you should do a round trip journey, roundabout journey?
So just to glorify, just to make teaching the whole Sudarshana, like none of there can be protected. He is making to everywhere because no one can protect him except
No one, even Brahma, Shiva also cannot protect you. And even Krishna also cannot protect you. That is what Krishna himself is telling. Yeah, telling him to go back, The beauty is that Sudarshan Chakra actually wanted to glorify Ambarish Maharaj. He wanted to establish this fact that Krishna is the supreme. If he protects, I mean, you cannot go to anyone else for protection, right? Even in Gajendra's thing also the same thing. It's mentioned about it. Though he called for Krishna, that in an indirect way, that is another thing. But here also, he was taking everywhere. Sudarshan Chakra was taking everywhere to show to the whole world that you cannot mess with a devotee and go to anyone else for protection. Okay, you want to know the proof? Okay, I'm taking Durvasa Muni first to Brahmaloka, then to Kailash, then to Vaikuntha, everywhere. And then when they come back also, Krishna tells him that you go and surrender to Ambarish Maharaj and please him. and he comes to Ambrish Maharaj and he pleases. At that time also, Sudarshan Chakra is not stopping the burning. He is saying, please save me. Durvasa Muni is saying, please save me. But still, he is not stopping. He is still burning. He's still on. So Ambrish Maharaj, he prays to Sudarshan Chakra. And this is the beauty of one speciality about Sudarshan Chakra is that he is the only devotee or weapon of Krishna, whatever, that is offered special exclusive prayers in whole of Bhagavatam. I'm not sure, maybe somewhere else someone can point out, but from what I have seen, Sudarshan Chakra is the only thing, devotee, if I have to call, I mean, if I have to say that way, that was specially offered prayers by Ambrish Maharaj. And in that also, he is not allowed, he is glorifying, like you are Tej, you are Agni, you are Surya, you are Chandra, everything, you are source of everything, but Sudarshan Chakra doesn't stop. Isn't it, Anu Prabhu? We discussed this last week.
Yes, yes.
Right? So he doesn't stop at all.
Yeah.
Only when Ambrish Maharaj says that, in exchange of all the pious activities that we did, you please save this Brahmana. In other words, whatever we are supposed to get as reciprocation for our services, I transfer it all into his bank account. It's assume that he has done all the pious all the devotional activities, devotional services, and please save him.
So checkmate the Sudarshan Chakra.
Not only checkmate to the Sudarshan Chakra, but actually Sudarshan Chakra checkmated Ambrish Maharaj. Because because Ambrish Maharaj is glorifying Sudarshan Chakra. He said,
Yes.
Sudarshan Chakra says, the whole pastime is to glorify you. Now, why are you glorifying me? And so Sudarshan Chakra is making, he is not speaking a single word. You see, he is the best devotee who doesn't speak a single word, but glorifies the devotee, other devotees, and Krishna. Right? So he makes sure that these words come out of Ambrish Maharaj's mouth. Only then I will stop burning this Durvasa Muni. And when these words come, then we know, oh, a devotee can even be willing to offer the reactions of all his pious activities, devotional activities, and everything which he did for all these years, including the 1 + 1, 2 years of fasting. 1 year before Durvasa Muni and 1 year after Durvasa Muni's running away. And this entire thing, what is the results of that, he is offering it to Durvasa Muni. How much merciful a devotee is. Sudarshan Chakra wanted to show this to the whole world, glorify Ambrish Maharaj. So Ambrish Maharaj glorified Sudarshan Chakra first, and Sudarshan Chakra said, no, this is not for me. You are to be glorified, and I have done this entire chasing only to bring your glories, reveal your glories to the whole world. And this is how Krishna's devotees, that is why they are always with Krishna, right? Sango Pangastra Parshadam, right? So that is why they're always with Krishna. So this is about Sudarshan Chakra. Very quickly we have to finish now. Next is actually the conch, the Shankha. This is another beautiful thing, Shankha. Conch which looks like a swan in his lotus-like palm. Tat Kara Saroruha Rajahamsam. See, there itself that comparison is so beautiful. As it is, the conch shell is white, that the white is so beautiful, so pleasing to see. And it's in the hand, Krishna's hand. But in one other place, you will also, many of you would have seen that verse. I think it's 1:11:2. There, when Krishna is entering Dwarka, he blows the conch shell. Conch shell itself is so beautiful to look at, you see. Perfectly formed conch shell. It is so beautiful to look at. Nice bubble shape, fat bubble shaped, and this particular verse is so nice too. If you want to take that out, Uchakashe Davalo Daro Apyurukramasya Dharashona Shonima Dadmayamanaha Karakanja Sampute Yathabja Kande Kalahamsa Utsavaha. See, this is actually beautiful. It's very interesting thing, word for word is very important to notice. Dadmaya Manaha. It's every word is so beautiful. It's the concha is as it is very beautiful to look at, but when it is with Krishna is touching with his lips and mouth and is blowing it, you see that you imagine that form of the Lord in the Mahabharata war in the chariot with Arjuna, both of them blowing the conch shell, no? So beautiful to look at that one, how he holds. And so the conch shell is actually touched by the lips of Krishna. And Dhavala Udara, white and fat bowled. It's very white and it is very nice, fat and round. And then Urukramasya, Krishna's hand, Adhara Shona, by the transcendental quality of his lips. So such a beautiful word for word. The lips are so beautiful. Now we will lose our thing. No, I have another class to go to. We will get caught up in that also, the time wise. But if you go along into this other Shonima, it is reddened. The lips is so beautiful to look at that by the touch of that lips and the quality of that lips, the bowl shaped white color conch shell, which is pure white in color, Shweta we call, no? But it has become reddened. Shonima, it has that reddish hue, starts coming into that. Dadmaya Manaha. What is he doing it? Is he using it for blowing it, right? And conch shell is blown for multiple reasons, isn't it? Once it's always it is blown to exhibit courage, victory, or driving away inauspicious things, right? So he is helping. The Shankar is helping in all these things. Whenever conch shell is blown, like Mangalarati, we are blowing the conch shell. It's so encouraging to get up and come in front of the Lord. And during Abhishek, continuously the Shankar is blown. Is blown. It is so beautiful. That sound is so beautiful to hear when when we hear the blowing of the conch shell along with the kirtana or mantra chanting and all that. And the most important thing is, I mean, I really relish it, because it's engaged in Krishna service, and of course the auspiciousness also, it drives away all the inauspicious things from our surroundings, right? That is also another important thing. And it is blown when Krishna is victorious, which conch shell is blown. So these are all indications of serving Krishna, and so happy. Like when you are very happy about something, you go around and very enthusiastically and joyfully you are telling everybody, isn't it? So the same way, the conch shell is so joyfully making sound. It's the sound when Krishna is blowing. Without the conch shell I blow, the sound will not come. That specific sound, isn't it? So conch shell is very expert in converting that our normal air into a beautiful sound, which is creating this courage, this victorious mood, and the cheerfulness, and relief from all anxiety and auspiciousness. All these things is simply by that service. So Krishna is really, see this, I really enjoyed this word, Karakanja Sampute, being caught by the grip of the lotus hand. See, Prabhupada is so genius. It's so nice, really, he could have said being held in his lotus hand. Krishna is not, normally we say that being held, isn't it? Why is he being caught by the grip, grip of the lotus hand? In other words, Krishna is holding it so tightly, the conch, right? That conch is so dear to Krishna that he is holding it so tightly. So we have to really, be so committed and surrendered to Krishna, like the conch and the Sudarshan Chakra and the ornaments and the Mandara mountain and the lotus. So that's when Krishna will catch us tightly. The grip is when you are holding somebody very tight, That's when you call it as a, hey, he gripped me so tightly. So that's when you use it. Karakanja Sampute. I mean, today when I was reading this shloka, I mean, helplessly I was reminded of my spiritual master. He's one who would hold our hands, isn't it, Prabhu's? I know many of you in this group will vouch for that. And how tight he'll be holding our hands, isn't it? So his grip will be so tight that many times we have to hold our fist like this. If we have it loose like this, no, we'll just go down. And it looks like we are actually supporting him, but he will be holding our hands like this. And many times say, man, we should eat more khichdi, man. You are so weak. Like that he will say. But there are many times when Maharaj is holding us, it's actually he who is dragging us towards Krishna, not that we are taking him. So I was reminded of that, and I was just wondering how, just like Krishna's grip is so pure, that he so dear, he's so loving, that the conch is so fortunate to have been held so tightly by Krishna in his hand and being blown and giving out the sound, the sound which will create all auspicious feelings in the hearts, right? So the same way, I somehow felt that not same way, even I would say even more fortunate, because Maharaj being such a pure devotee, he was, so many people's hand he used to hold, and he gave us this mercy. I just wanted to stop here only because of the constraint of the time. We have another maybe minute or two to discuss something which spares any of you.
Hare Krishna, Bhaktivinoda.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. You in the saying of the last you to like the building of the character, and also in the and we also heard like in the last class that we should not have corner of the hearts, and the three modes of nature we should not be carried away. Let it leave. But as you're referring the example that Maharaj also is very peaceful, and even anybody's envious, he is not envious. But the peace and the transcendental peace, yeah, transcendental happiness, what Maharaj is like. We hear the past time when we had an earthquake in Dwarka. He's not at all. He does not want to come from top when he's reading about. So, I mean, why the cleaning of heart is so important, and where the transcendental peace that will come from, or that happiness will come from, so we will not be bewildered. Or first one is why the cleaning of heart is more important. Building character is more important, Prabhuji.
Sorry,
and
Prabhu?
Second thing, building of character, cleansing of heart is why this is so much important. And second thing, what is the transcendental peace or transcendental happiness that will not be carried away with the three modes of nature?
Okay, so Krishna has inspired you to ask this question, to share a verse which I wanted to quote, but I forgot to quote. 11, 14, 13. You take that shloka. Beautiful shloka. I was reading that today morning, and so such a beautiful, because why we are doing all these things is answered in this verse. Why we are doing all this, why we have to meditate on Krishna, and in what mood we should meditate on Krishna so that it will yield the right result, correct? So this verse is so beautiful. Kinchanasya dantasya shantasya samachetasah maya santushta manasah sarva sukhamaya dishaha. Can you read this translation, Prabhu? And you can read the purport also. The purport is so beautiful.
Yeah. Translation by Divine Grace Swami Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. One who does not desire anything within this world, who has achieved peace by controlling his senses, whose consciousness is equal in all conditions, and whose mind is completely satisfied in me, finds only happiness wherever he goes.
This is the purpose. Yeah. This is the purpose. The purpose is to find happiness wherever you go.
Yes. A devotee who is always meditating upon Lord Krishna experiences transcendental sound, touch, form, flavor, and aroma in the pastimes of the Lord. These sublime perceptions are certainly due to the causeless mercy of Lord Krishna upon one whose mind and senses are completely satisfied in. Such a person finds only happiness wherever he goes. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the example that when a very wealthy man travels all over the world, at every place he stays, he always enjoys the same luxurious standard of comfort. Similarly, one who has developed Krishna's consciousness is never separated from happiness because Lord Krishna is all pervading. The word kinchana indicates that so-called enjoyable things of this world. One who is akinchana has correctly understood that material sense gratification is simply the glare of illusion, and therefore such a person is dantasya or self-control, santasya or peaceful, and maya santushta manasa or completely satisfied with this transcendental experience of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
It's a beautiful purport, you know. This itself is very much, the whole idea is to become satisfied, Prabhu.
Yes.
But that satisfaction, we are trying to get everywhere. But that's why he's saying, Maya Santushta Manasaha. If you are feeling that this is the only place where I can get satisfaction, that is in Krishna, taking darshan of Krishna, in engaging in service to Krishna, in associating with devotees and discussing about Krishna. This is the only thing that gives me true happiness, true satisfaction. No, I will go only there for that. Then you will see only happiness wherever he goes. This Samachetasa is a very beautiful word, whose consciousness is equal everywhere. He's not talking equanimity, equanimous, equality and all that. He's talking about your consciousness is equal everywhere. Very nice translation that is. Because somebody is glorifying you, your consciousness is balanced. Somebody is chastising you, your balance there also. Where you get some profit somewhere, loss somewhere, equally consciousness is equal, same everywhere. So
Yes,
with this, you put this as an investment, go to Krishna. Krishna will give these qualities in abundance. In return. We have little bit we have to develop first. You don't have to be like fully equipped and then go to Krishna only. That is not possible. Without Krishna, we cannot be fully equipped. So we become equipped little bit with this quality. We go to Krishna, or even without it also you go to Krishna. You will get these qualities. Just chant the holy names and somewhere sit and hear Harikatha. That is good enough. It is good enough to start off the journey. Then we keep on encouraging this whole thing.
Accumulating, yeah.
That is one. This verse is very, very important for us to understand why, in what mood we should meditate and what we will get by meditating on Krishna.
Yeah. Prabhuji, in the purport is beautiful, like Srila Prabhupada devotees has written. The sound, touch, form, and aroma we can experience in the pastimes of the Lord. And it's amazing. I mean, we never realize.
That's there. Brahma is telling Shuta Ikshita. Krishna is Shuta Ikshita. Means by hearing you can see Krishna.
Yeah.
You are hearing the pastime, so you can see Krishna. And then he's saying, what is that? Gandham, Saroja Gandham. In the same prayers only, he says that no, Kosha Gandham. Anyway, he's talking about the that's the verse. Yetu charanambuja
Kosha Gandham Jigranti
Karna Jigranti means smelling, you know, the aroma. You're smelling the aroma, Jigranti, Karna Vivare, through the ears. So everything, Harikatha will give you, you can taste, you can pibantiye Bhagavata Atmana Satam, you can taste also, you can enjoy the taste. Just now I drank some little juice or whatever. I could, only by the tongue we are doing it, but through the ears also you can taste the same way. So all of those things we can do, Prabhu. That's why this is so nicely pointed out here. That's why I said the purport is very nice.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I think I am just wanted to remind you about the time. Your next
yes,
class.
Prabhu, actually I told them that I will start 10 minutes late. I know.
Okay, that's fine.
Our class, you know, it's
Prabhuji, in Durvasa's this thing, no, Krishna, see, whenever we have any problem, like when we tell Hare Krishna, Prabhu, first, I just jumped into it.
Yes,
Prabhu, in Durvasa's matter, when we discuss like Krishna, people tell that Durvasa went to Krishna and Krishna didn't do anything. But there you see in Malayalam or in Sanskrit, there is a beautiful word upayam. Upayam, if you see, Krishna has given a solution, like we have a problem where we should go to, who we should go. That word at 9:469, the first word says upayam. Krishna gave a solution to Durvasa what he should do. 9:466, it very clearly says that it is selling that the means of protection in this dangerous position, like what he should do, that he should go to Ambrisha, you see. So this is a beautiful word, upayam, and always we should know this word upayam, because this gives us, in Malayalam also upayam means what? Solution. In Sanskrit also it is upayam means what? You should know what it is, So
It's
this is very
same.
beautiful.
In all languages, it's the same, Prabhu.
Yeah. Anyway, Prabhu,
Upayam.
thank you so much.
That's a beautiful point you made, because we discussed about it recently in our Ambarish Maharaj Katha also, that Krishna would have, if he wanted, he could have saved, but he says, no, I can't.
No,
Because now
exactly.
my own Sudarshan Chakra is not in my control.
Exactly.
I gave it in control of Ambarish Maharaj, and it's up to him to stop. He neither initiated, told the Sudarshan Chakra to chase you, and nor is the cause of him burning you. Now you go back to him. He will, whatever he wants to do, he will do.
Go back to him immediately.
Yeah, immediately. Yes.
Immediately. Beautifully. It's telling immediately.
That's because you acted, because you are suffering because of your own envy. You have to go back immediately.
Yeah. Anyway,
Immediately
thank you,
actually
Prabhu.
means don't go return trip and again go somewhere else to some other loka. Beyond this, there is no other loka, and you are not getting help here also. You will not get a help anywhere else. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Very nice, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One
Yes,
more
Prabhu.
thing, this about Shankha, like you said, Sudarshan Chakra as a devotee glorified, made sure all the arrangements were made to glorify, Amrish Maharaj. So similarly, this Shankha also, when Dhruva got the darshan
that's
of
another important thing. I missed it. Actually, the Shankha is also the source of all knowledge, love and devotional knowledge. So when he touches Dhruva with that conch shell, he became blank upon seeing Krishna first. So when Krishna wanted to bring him back to this thing, and all the prayers that he is chanting is all because of that transcendent touch of the conch shell upon his head that Krishna does. Nice, Prabhu. Very important point. Yes. And Jagannath Puri is also called Shankha Kshetra. It's in the form of the Shankha,
Again, here also it is mentioned Shankha is touched by the lips of the Lord. So that how the knowledge is transferred through Shankha, and how the Shankha has become the source of the knowledge. So that's
the gopis are all,
about this verse.
The gopis are all envious of the flute and the Shankha, Flute mainly, because that's what they see, because they don't see Krishna with the Shankha most of the time. If Krishna doesn't blow any conch shell there in Vrindavan, but in Dwarka and other places, Kurukshetra and all, he blows the conch shell. So conch shell is really very fortunate that the Shankha. Very, very beautiful things. Thank you, Prabhu. Nice point. Okay. If there is no other points, then okay, let's stop here. Thank you so much, Sadashiv Prabhu and Giriraj Prabhu, for giving me an opportunity to.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Jati Janita Go Pramanante. Thank you, Prabhu Mataji. Have a great weekend. Hare Krishna.